The road to his farm vanished overnight like someone erased it from the world, and the HOA Karen smiled as if she owned the sky. Ethan Carter had lived on the edge of Maple Ridge for years, raising goats, growing vegetables, and selling fresh produce to the town. His farm wasn't fancy, but it was honest. The only way in was a narrow gravel road that passed beside a gated HOA community. For decades, it was a shared access route, quiet, legal, and respected. Until Karen Whitmore became HOA president, one Monday morning, Ethan drove his truck toward the farm entrance and froze. A brand new metal gate stood there, locked tight, with a sign, "Private HOA Road, trespassers will be fined." Karen's SUV was parked nearby like a guard dog. She stepped out, holding a clipboard, and told him calmly that the HOA voted to protect property values. Ethan tried reasoning, showing old county maps. Karen didn't even glance. She said, "Your farm traffic is ugly. Find another way." Then she added something colder, "or sell." Ethan went home that day, not just blocked, humiliated. But what Karen didn't know was this: Ethan had a secret beneath his land. And it connected to far more than a road. Ethan didn't sleep that night. Not because of anger, because of fear. His animals needed feed deliveries. His customers depended on him. And without road access, his farm would die quietly, one missed day at a time. He called the county office. The clerk sounded tired and said, "Sir, we've received multiple complaints from the HOA. They're insisting it's private." Ethan asked about easements. The clerk hesitated, then said something strange: "Your file is incomplete." Like pages were removed. That sentence hit Ethan like ice water. The next morning he walked to the gate again. Karen was waiting, as if she enjoyed being seen as the final boss. She handed him a printed notice of daily fines. "You can't use this road," she said sweetly. "Rules are rules." Ethan asked one question: "Who changed the county file?" Karen's smile twitched. For half a second, her eyes showed panic, then she recovered. "Stop accusing people. You farmers love drama." But Ethan wasn't accusing. He was confirming. That evening, he visited his late father's old shed. Behind dusty shelves, he pulled out a metal box filled with yellowed papers. Maps. Receipts. Old survey stamps. And one hand-drawn sketch titled, "Emergency Tunnel Route." Ethan stared at it, heart pounding. His father once built a hidden tunnel under the property originally for storms and storage. Ethan never needed it. Until now. And the map showed something else, something that led under the HOA land. At sunrise, Ethan stepped into the shed with a flashlight and a shovel. He lifted a rusted hatch buried under hay bales, and cold air breathed upward, like the earth was exhaling secrets. The tunnel entrance was real. He climbed down carefully. Wooden supports lined the narrow passage, reinforced with old steel beams. It smelled like dirt and time. Ethan walked slowly, counting steps like his father once taught him. The tunnel stretched farther than he remembered, farther than any emergency route needed to. Then he saw it, a second branch, hidden behind a plank wall. Ethan pried it open, and his flashlight revealed fresh footprints. Someone had been using this tunnel recently. His chest tightened. He followed the branch. Ison, the passage rose slightly, leading toward the HOA side. Ethan reached a grated vent and looked through. He was beneath a maintenance room inside the HOA clubhouse. He could hear voices above, two men and Karen. Karen's voice was sharp: "We don't need the farmer. Once he sells, we'll expand the marina project." A man replied, "But the county easement could expose the underground drainage problem." Karen snapped, "That's why the file is cleaned. No record, no problem." Ethan's hands shook. It wasn't about property values. It was about a secret project, and the farmland was in their way. Then he heard another sentence that made his blood run cold: "If anyone finds the tunnel access, we're finished." Ethan backed away silently, mind racing. He wasn't just blocked from his farm. He had accidentally stepped into a cover-up, and now Karen wasn't only a bully. She was guarding a crime dressed as community rules. Ethan didn't rush out yelling. He didn't post online. He did something smarter, he documented everything. Over the next 2 days, he returned to the tunnel at night with a small camera and a phone recorder. He captured audio through the vent. He filmed the HOA clubhouse room from below. He even found a stack of hidden construction plans stored in a locked cabinet. But the lock was old, and Ethan's father had left him a key on that map. The papers were clear. The HOA planned to build a private luxury dock and boat storage, but their land couldn't support it. The soil was unstable. The only safe foundation required redirecting drainage through Ethan's farmland. They needed him gone. Ethan finally understood why Karen hated his goats, his truck, his deliveries. His farm was the last obstacle. Then Karen escalated. One afternoon, she arrived at the gate with a tow truck and county-looking officers. She shouted loud enough for neighbors to hear, "This man is trespassing. He's violating HOA security." The crowd watched like it was a show. Ethan stood there calmly. He didn't argue. He simply said, "You're blocking a legal easement." Karen laughed. "Prove it." That was the moment Ethan realized the twist. Karen wasn't just confident, she believed the evidence was destroyed, but Ethan had something stronger than old county files. He had her own words. Her own plans. Her own secret tunnel access. As the tow truck rolled closer, Ethan looked at Karen and whispered, "I'm not trapped." "You are." Karen's face went pale for a second. Because she knew he wasn't bluffing. And then Ethan made his next move, one that would turn the entire HOA against her. Ethan called a community meeting, but not the kind Karen controlled. He invited the entire town, farm customers, local reporters, even county inspectors. He didn't call it a fight. He called it a public safety update. Karen arrived dressed like a politician, smiling too wide. She expected Ethan to beg. Instead, Ethan rolled in a projector screen and placed 3 folders on a table labeled easement, tunnel, and drainage fraud. The room went silent. Ethan spoke calmly, like a man reading weather forecasts. He showed old survey maps proving the shared road easement existed long before the HOA. Then he played audio recordings from beneath the clubhouse. Karen's voice filled the room. "That's why the file is cleaned." Gasps erupted. HOA residents looked at each other in shock. Karen stood frozen, mouth slightly open. Then Ethan revealed the construction plans. The marina expansion would redirect runoff water toward the farm and nearby homes. A county inspector leaned forward, eyes narrowing, and asked, "Where did you get these?" Ethan answered, "From the tunnel." That word, tunnel, spread like wildfire. Karen tried to speak, but the crowd drowned her out. One resident shouted, "You lied to us." Another yelled, "You used our HOA fees for this?" Karen's perfect mask cracked. She screamed that Ethan was dangerous and breaking in. Ethan simply replied, "The tunnel existed before you moved here. And it proves you've been hiding things underground." The inspector ordered an immediate investigation. Karen's hands shook as she realized the story was no longer hers to control, but Ethan wasn't finished. He hadn't revealed the biggest secret yet because he needed Karen to confess one last thing. The county investigation moved fast. Inspectors visited the clubhouse, the gate, and the tunnel entrance. HOA residents watched like their world was collapsing in slow motion. Karen stopped showing up outside the gate. Her SUV disappeared. Her confidence vanished, but Ethan knew one truth: Karen wouldn't go down quietly. 2 nights later, Ethan heard engine noise near the shed. He peeked outside and saw Karen's SUV parked near his property line. She wasn't alone. 2 men were with her, carrying tools. They were going for the tunnel. Ethan didn't confront them. He called the sheriff and stayed hidden, recording everything from a distance. Karen's voice carried through the night. "If the tunnel collapses, there's no proof. Move faster." That sentence was the confession Ethan needed. Within minutes, patrol lights flooded the farm road. Karen panicked and tried to leave, but officers blocked her. The sheriff stepped out, calm but firm. "Ma'am, you're trespassing and interfering with an active county investigation." Karen's face twisted with rage and fear. She shouted that Ethan was ruining the community. But the sheriff pointed at the camera in Ethan's hand. "We have audio. We have video. We have witnesses. Karen's knees nearly buckled. The next morning, the HOA board called an emergency vote. Karen was removed as president immediately. Residents demanded refunds and transparency. Some cried. Some apologized to Ethan, but the biggest twist wasn't Karen losing power, it was what the tunnel led to, because inspectors found an underground drainage dump site connected to the HOA project. It wasn't just unethical. It was illegal, and when the news broke, the entire town realized Ethan's farm wasn't just blocked. It was targeted. The final meeting took place in the county hall. Karen sat alone, no longer dressed in bright power suits, just a tired woman surrounded by papers she couldn't argue with. Ethan sat across the room, quiet, steady, not smiling. The county declared the easement valid and permanent. The HOA gate was ordered removed within 24 hours. Karen's private road sign was taken down like a defeated flag. But the bigger decision came next. The HOA's marina project was cancelled, and the board was forced to repay misused funds. When Karen tried one last time to blame Ethan, the judge asked a simple question: why did you alter public records? Karen's silence was louder than any confession. Outside, residents approached Ethan. One elderly man said softly, "We thought you were the problem. But you were the warning." Ethan nodded. He didn't want revenge. He wanted his life back. That afternoon, Ethan drove down the road again, no gate, no threat, just open sky. His goats bleated as if celebrating. Customers returned. The farm breathed again, and the tunnel? Ethan sealed the secret branch and kept the map, not as a weapon, but as a reminder: when someone blocks your only road, sometimes the truth has already built another path beneath your feet, and that was the final twist in this unbelievable HOA story. If you loved the drama, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment sharing your thoughts. It really helps this channel grow.